pretty much at a low, an all-time low from an emotional standpoint, how that was affecting my hormones and my well-being and the desire for us to get pregnant and approaching 40 and having experienced miscarriage. So it was definitely the darkest period, I would say, of my life. And one of the last doctor's appointments, the gastroenterologist said, here's the solution. We're going to hook you up to an IV. You just have to come in once a month for 2 hours.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. That's it.
Yeah.
And we said, hell no. Like, this is where it stops.
Hey, Roxy, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about where you were, let's say 6 months, a year ago. Where were things before we started to work together?
So I have struggled with an autoimmune condition. So it's a version of Crohn's for over a decade. And there were the last few years that were the worst that they had ever been. Lots of irritation in my bowel movements, blood.
Bleeding, pain.
Complete lack of diet. Like, pretty much had to cut everything out. Hair loss, fatigue, just pretty much at a low, an all-time low from an emotional standpoint, how that was affecting my hormones and my well-being and the desire for us to get pregnant and approaching 40 and having experienced miscarriage. So it was definitely the darkest period, I would say, of my life.
What do you think prompted you at that time to take a look at working with me and with Transform? What was so different about it? What made you certain that this was something really different?
I think that, we had gone from doctor to doctor to doctor. We're from LA originally, and we were...
Me too.
Yes. And we were at the top, doctors at UCLA and...
UCLA, my alma mater.
And just a lot of failed attempts. And wishing that these doctors understood that there was a connection to diet and hormones and everything. And so when we found...
Kind of like, duh.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Dealing with fertility issues, lots of autoimmune and gut issues. You're like, how could diet and hormones not be a part of the cause and the solution?
Exactly.
It's logical.
Very logical. And yet I guess they are trained to say else, different and have no education in that whatsoever and do not link it, like almost emphatically, some of the doctors that I went to. So it wasn't working. We had busted a lot of money and time there, and we were running out of time for ourselves. And one of the last doctor's appointments, the gastroenterologist said, we're going to hook you up to an IV. Here's the solution. We're going to hook you up to an IV. You just have to come in once a month for 2 hours. And for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. That's it.
Yeah.
And we said, hell no. Like, this is where it stops. And by the grace of the universe and whatever it is that you believe in, we heard about you through somebody we knew and checked out the website and thought, this makes a whole lot of sense. And there's so many wonderful testimonials and your confidence in the results. I always think about, even in the signatures of your emails, it says with certainty.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
And that gave me confidence because the doctors that were trying to help me before, I didn't feel that genuine confidence from what they were saying either.
Well, how could they?
Yeah.
Think about that. How can you be genuinely confident watching people with autoimmune issues or some chronic disease and saying you have to be hooked up to an IV for the rest of your life every single month, and that's just to keep things at bay?
Yeah.
Like, they don't see remission. They don't see reversal. They actually don't see people get better.
They don't believe in that.
Well, it's not a matter of belief. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a result and outcome that they would ever expect to see. Right? That would be something miraculous happening.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, right now, I know we're celebrating, well, you should tell everybody. Where are you at right now?
So right now, underneath all of this, I am about 8 months pregnant.
Transform baby number 17, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And here's the thing for me is people don't realize is one of the biggest reasons why people struggle with getting pregnant, staying pregnant, miscarriage, infertility type issues is because of an underlying immune system problem. Like your immune system wasn't just attacking your intestines. It was also attacking hormone making organs and preventing the hormone support you need to ovulate, get pregnant, and stay pregnant.
Yes.
And so for me, I take it as mission critical, but also a huge grave responsibility and a heck of a lot of fun, balancing your hormones and getting your ass ready to get pregnant and have a baby.
Yes. It was so incredible to be a part of it. My OB had told me at the start of the pregnancy, which was just incredible that we got pregnant in the first place. So grateful for that. And they said 30% of people that come in with these autoimmune conditions will either get worse, 30% will stay the same, and 30% are going to get better. And we don't know where you're going to fall. And I thought, with certainty, I know where I'm going to fall.
Well, and this is the percentage. So to me, like your OBGYN is absolutely correct that in their experience, 30% people do really poorly, 30% do really well, and 30% know nothing different, right? Which means only 30% of people do better during a pregnancy, which to me is critical, mission critical for someone with an autoimmune issue, right? Yeah. For me, in my experience, is 100% of the people we work with do great with their pregnancy and, getting pregnant, staying pregnant, and delivering their baby and their postpartum period, which is going to be a big issue because when you deliver a baby, you don't just deliver a baby, you deliver the placenta, which makes a lot of hormones. And so for me, we got to prepare for that hormonal drop when we deliver the baby as well in a system that wasn't balanced in the first place. So for me, this is really exciting. I mean, sounds like how has being pregnant been for you? How far along are you? How has it been so far?
So we're 30 weeks, and I mean, you can ask my husband, but
Lucas,
how have I been?
How has she been?
Smooth sailing. It's been an amazing journey for us. We interpret and understand this baby as a direct result of having taken the Transform program because we didn't have this baby before. We tried for years and we were giving up hope. And now we're a little over a month away from delivering our first baby, and we're both well over 40. And it's because of Transform.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It warms my heart. I'm so excited.
But in general, my health has continued to improve.
Yeah.
It improved to the point where we felt certain and confident enough to get pregnant with your support. You remember saying, go for it.
Yeah. I always tell people there's a right time and there's a right place to do something. And I want to get the data and the education to be able to decide when that is with you.
So you let me know a few times, go for it, and gave you that confidence, went for it. And it's just been this upward trajectory of a lot of people, they say, oh, I don't feel well, or I'm having this problem, or I'm constipated. And I'm freaking great. No issues with my autoimmune, no issues with, my bowel movement.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Yeah.
Which is such a dream.
Well, I remember when I first met you, just how much of an up and down, mostly down, the whole autoimmune and the Crohn's, what symptoms were for you.
Yeah.
That was for me, just watching you go through that. I don't think what you lacked was predictability.
Yeah.
There was no predictability. And that's a very challenging situation to try to get pregnant and bring a baby into the world under, right? Lacked predictability, certainty around that. Let me ask you a question, both of you, okay? So talking about the word certainty, do you think are some of the areas in your health where you feel like there's a big level of certainty currently? What certainty have you been able to gain?
I got a fun one.
Okay.
What I eat.
Tell me.
Well, I wasn't able to really eat anything.
I remember that.
Awful.
I know.
Nothing in my diet. And I was fatigued and I would get crashes, blood sugar crashes. So I don't crash. I can predict what I need to eat, when I need to eat, how I need to eat. And I also can eat pizza. I also had mac and cheese last night.
Oh, yes. Hell yes.
We make our own ice cream, which is also very delicious.
Yes.
So it's really
We do too. We make our own ice cream too. Jonathan can show off that ninja with you.
so great. And I can eat it.
I love it.
And I don't have to, I can't eat that. Oh no, I'm going to get a flare. And, I know how to manage what I'm eating. And so my quality of life and my quality of energy and my enjoyment of food is just skyrocketed.
Oh my God. I love it.
So what's so exciting for me and what I love so much about what you've done and Transform in terms of consistency, this is not a program where you go through it and things get better and you end the program and then things go back to how they were, because you so emphatically require everyone who goes through the program to learn how to repeat how things work so that we can continue getting and growing these results for the rest of our lifetime, which is what we have done. So there's a consistency, a guarantee every day knowing that we can do this and we can get better at it.
Yes.
And we are so grateful that you didn't just do a program, you taught people how to be the program themselves forever.
It's that whole thing where you can throw fish at somebody and you just feed them for a day, but you teach them how to fish and they eat for life, right? That whole concept. I'm going to quiz you because I saw you in all those meetings with us just as much. I'm curious. You mentioned, and it's big for me, is how to continually test, like know what to test, when to test it, and what to do with those results. What's a recent, is there an example of something recent that you had to test and figure out, get the data yourself, figure out what the data meant, and had to navigate what to do with that?
Yeah, well, I think with pregnancy, our ferritin and iron is mine. I say our because I have such a committed hubby here, but keeping that up, getting it up there. And I know I take my iron regularly.
Yep.
And I also do iron infusions when I need it.
When you need it, and you know when you need it.
And so we test every 3 to 6 months. I'm pregnant right now, so we're testing more often than.
Well, you know what
need to.
I love is, we went through training around understanding what's iron, what's stored iron, what are the numbers to look at, how do you supplement, what comes through diet, how does digestion impact that, what are the underlying causes, all of the above, right? But what I loved was, first thing I see you is, I said, well, what's been one of the major symptoms you've had, to deal with pregnancy? And you said, honestly, just tiredness. And it's not even all that bad. And fun fact is that, and in the third trimester of pregnancy, which you're entering right now, you actually increase your blood volume by about 30%. So then all the iron numbers will actually drop by 30% just simply by dilution. Right? So it's so great to hear you be like, I know exactly when to retest. I know what to do with it. And during my pregnancy, I also get the iron infusion when I need it. Right? Now, that wouldn't be
when the OB tells you. My OB was amazed by it. She's like, I'm always trying to convince people and try to get them to test, and you're just on it, and I've been ahead of the game. And I said, no, I need to test now. I'm not going to wait another month. And so I'm on track with everything.
Woo. Woo.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Lucas, I'm going to ask you a question, which is, what has been one of the most surprising things to watch her go through or to see in her experience as she went through the process the past year of, turning her health around, getting pregnant and staying pregnant? What's been something surprising that you've experienced that most people may not think about or know about?
This may not be the answer that you're thinking of, but the first thing that came to my mind is Roxy's happiness.
Oh.
Roxy is an extremely happy person. I've known her for 15 years, but for the 10 that she has dealt with this, each year, especially the last few before joining this program, that happiness started to dissipate because she had seen so many doctors and had tried so many things and nothing had worked. And when you do that, you start to lose hope and faith, and there are real stakes on the table, which is her ability to live her life fully and to live it as long as she wants to live it. There are stakes on the table, and because of that, Roxy lost a lot of her joy. So for me, to be able to see that joy come back and return at the highest level ever now that we're also pregnant with the baby through this program, that is the most surprising and wonderful development of all of this, I think, for me.
Okay, thank you. Next question I have for you is this. What has it been like being the support person as she went through this process for you? What has happened to you?
I got some for you.
What you got?
Yeah.
Lucas is the person who cooks and is in the kitchen all the time. And so he's just transformed how and what he cooks and his awareness around it and his support of our healthy lifestyle and making it fun as well.
For me, it's being able to go into the program and have everything so clearly mapped out that we don't have to spend time debating or asking, what should we do? How should we do it? We just do it. And we focus on how can we just map this even better into our life? There's no figuring out. It's just how can we implement better and even more consistently, because we know every time we do, we get the results. So to remove the confusion off the table is just fantastic.
Ooh, you're a guy who likes certainty.
I do.
I love that. I love that. How important would you, both of you, say certainty around your health has been?
It's given us our life back. It's totally priceless. I was just thinking about a breakdown I had in our bedroom, months before joining the program, where I just had and I have only had a few anxiety attacks in my life, but I had a complete anxiety attack, and I just hyperventilating and crying out of fear of whether I was going to die young. Because when you see doctor after doctor and they say, this is just your fate and nothing is working and helping you get better, it's depressing. And I was just existing in a state every day of not knowing that underneath it all, I was just in fear for my life. So the value of the program is completely, it gave me my life back. It's priceless. It's certainty. It's confidence that there are solutions out there. There are root causes, and that you can be in control of your health.
Most people wouldn't associate their health with the word certainty. Like it's not even in the same sentence, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I love that. Okay, final question. What would you say to somebody who's a Roxy, who's a Roxy and who's a Lucas, who's watching your video right now, and they're wondering, is this something I should do? And is this just another thing? How is this different than anybody else? What's one thing that you would say to them, to a Lucas or a Roxy out there who's watching this right now?
You don't even have to listen to anything we're saying, because there is proof in the thousands of people that Maggie has transformed through her work. It's not about what one person says. You have an entire body of hundreds and thousands of people who have spoken the truth of their experience and who have the results. The proof is in the numbers, not in one person's story. This is not an anecdote. We are one of a sea of people who are walking, living proof that this program works, and it works really, really well.
Boy, that was an amazing interview. And I'm touched and I'm proud. These are the kind of kick-ass people we work with. And I love if you or anyone you know is struggling with POTS, dysautonomia, long haul, or unexplained chronic health symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, irritability, irritable bowel syndrome, which now I think IBS is BS. If you're struggling with any chronic health related symptoms, click the link below and watch my free training.